Okay, what are 4 effective methods for you to continue selling even when you're out of stock on your Shopify or e-commerce store? So number 1 is actually using dynamic pricing apps. So if you go to the Shopify app store and you type in dynamic pricing, you'll see a bunch of apps that allow you to incrementally adjust the price of your products depending on how much inventory you have, right? You can see that's already pretty effective because if you're running out of inventory and you're getting closer and closer, you can incrementally increase the price of those products, therefore matching the consumer surplus that some of your consumers are still willing to pay, while you buy yourself time to restock and go back to selling at your original price, right? But that is a self-adjusting mechanism, right, where you can essentially use price and automatically adjust it, right, depending on how much inventory you have left, to make sure you never run out of stock, because the price always adjusts depending on your inventory levels. So that's number 1. Number 2 is using pre-order apps. Pre-order apps are very common as well. There's a bunch of apps, again, on the Shopify App Store. However, you think about that, you can either get a reservation where the customer doesn't pay anything, but just pre-reserves a unit of your product if you're out of stock, and then gets notification later down the road when you are back in stock, or they have to pay 100% of the product upfront, even though they won't actually get it either until you're back in stock. There's now apps that allow you to choose that prepayment percentage exactly as you want it. So if you want, for example, the customer to only prepay 40% of the purchase to show that they're actually serious about pre-ordering, and then only, let's say, 5 weeks later, when you are actually back in stock, paying the remaining 60%, there's apps that allow you to do it as well. So that's also an effective way to kind of find an interesting balance to make sure that you maximize on all the customers who are willing to pre-order, but actually do pre-order because they don't need to pay 100% upfront. Then that kind of ties in with point number 3, which is you should always have email and SMS notifications set up that integrate again with your inventory levels, that if you are back in stock, the customers get a automatic email and or SMS notification saying they're back in stock, with a link to their add to cart or checkout page, ideally even with a discount to give them those extra incentives so that they can complete their purchase. And then finally, it is actually converting to a similar variant of the product. So this depends a bit on your product, but I'm mentioning it because it was very effective for one of our stores, and I've seen other stores where this can also be very effective. So for example, if you have 2 colors of your main product and one of them is a more premium color, but you've run out of stock for your basic color, you can still pleasantly surprise your customers by just automatically sending them the premium colored product. And that way you don't have to actually refund all the purchases that have been made now when you were out of stock, and actually going through that entire process of communicating with the customers. You should still obviously let them know, but just sending them the premium version, and sure, sacrificing a little bit on the margin, it's ultimately a different color, is an effective way to also smoothen out and continue selling when you're out of stock. So those are 4 ways. Hopefully you found that helpful.